I'm from the
Same place as trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays live on this Memorial Day weekend, where we define, examine, and analyze words, saying, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, we will be smoking on opinion. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali, Dawood L, and BK So Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. How you feeling?
Peace, God. Yo, everything is everything on this side, man. Like, we dealing with little sniffles or whatever. but it's all love though. Everything in the garden is growing. Is green everywhere. Everything is productive. So we're just taking it one day at a time and just doing that, man. You know.
Sounds phenomenal. You know, one day at a time. Sweet Jesus. That's how the song go.
That is how it go.
You know. But yeah, God, I just, I've been having a productive week, getting a lot of stuff done inside the home. And the last few weeks have been leading up to this have been really, really productive. A lot of positive things going on. So we just thankful for that as always. Thankful to have another day of breath, to be a better version than I was yesterday. Because Lord knows, we don't always got it together. But, as long as we keep focusing on getting it together and keeping it together, then we can weather, any storm, anytime. So before we jump into tonight's word, y'all, tonight's smoke, make sure to smash and hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays live. Don't forget to head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by that brother right there, the God Ali Dawood L. Support your interests and live. Link is in the description. And also, y'all, subscribe to DBCHEFTV on YouTube and put your name in the hat to win $100, y'all. We do this each and every third Sunday of the month, and it could be you. So you know what you got to do. Subscribe. We appreciate y'all. We want to show love for y'all showing love for what we do here. Also, we got merch, y'all. All right. Links is in the description. DBCHEFTV, BK Soul Farm. And like we always say, if money's tight, it's all right. We're going to still love you. If they do what, God?
Yo, just thumb up that like, man. Just hit the like.
Thumbs up.
That's
Smash
it.
that like. So,
at least lift our finger.
At least lift the finger, right? Not the middle finger, but you know what? We'd take that too. If you
use it for that,
if you use it to punch down on us, then hey, punch down. Why not? But we're gonna go ahead and jump into tonight's smoke, y'all. We are smoking on opinion. If you're new to the channel, y'all, what we do is we go through our words. We usually answer the first question, and then we go to the definition. Then we go through the remaining 2, 3, and 4 questions, 2, 3, and 4, and then we take a break for our flavor bomb, which is current event topics that we review and exchange our insights on. And then last but never least, we finish off with our last question. So you got to stick around to the end, and we always encourage you all to follow along in the chat, in the live chat, and comment with us and let us know what you think to the questions, your answers to the questions. We always respond, and if you catch the replay when we post it, then if you comment in the chat, we're going to comment back. So Our first question of the evening is, what do you think of when you hear the word opinion? Second, when can sharing an opinion become harmful, feeling like criticism? Third, the saying, opinions are like a-holes and everyone has one. That's what the ... is. Is it true? Yes or no? And why? Fourth, why do people hold tightly to opinions when evidence proves otherwise? And then fifth and final, last but not least, is the word opinion bad, good, or misunderstood? And shout out to people in the chat. We see one of our winners, Bubbling Brown, pulling up. We appreciate you for pulling up. Brown, I think was our winner last month for the cash giveaway. We appreciate you being in the building tonight. Shout out to Bubbling Brown. And we're gonna go ahead and light this smoke up. So what do you think of when you hear the word opinion? The God Ali Dawood El at BK Soul Farm.
Peace, God.
Um,
So one of the questions actually stole a little bit of my thunder a little bit, right? Opinions are like a-holes. ... But what I think about opinions, personally, I don't like them if I didn't ask for it, right? And I wouldn't give it unless I was asked for it, right? And if I were to say something about a situation, I would look at it more like thinking out loud, more so than me giving my opinion on something if I wasn't asked. So I think you got to be qualified to give an opinion. I think opinions should be based off your facts, right? If somebody's asking you something, I think they should be based off things that you have personally gone through, things that you personally know, things that you have personally accomplished, and should never be based off of hearsay, right? And I think a lot of times people give opinions based off what they heard from somebody else. And it just come across bad, right? I also think I think opinions, I think about put down culture. Right. I think about a way of being superior. And that's kind of how I feel about people that offer opinions without being asked, right? I feel like they are looking down on you and and almost demanding that you do something because they say that what you're doing is not enough, right? Which may be true, you know what I'm saying? Which may be true, but it still don't take away the fact that it's put down culture and not necessarily lift up all the time, right? I feel like it's only lift up culture if it's asked for, or if you have a relationship with the person where asking isn't necessary, right? Like I think siblings asking isn't necessarily right. I think parental child relationships asking is because there's a goal there to keep some kind of foundation or form, right? So or there's a sense of this person isn't trying to hurt me because we're on the same team, kind of thing. So their opinion isn't harmful. But yeah, that's what I think. We don't get into it. But yeah, I think that's what I think. I think they should be qualified. They come across as put down culture. I think you should definitely if you're not asked for your opinion and you give it and the person doesn't take it, I think you should just chalk it up as you was just thinking out loud, right? And don't get mad. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. So y'all make sure to smash that like button, please, and thank you. If y'all just tuning in, y'all rocking out with us. We are smoking on opinion. And we are answering our first question. What do you think of when you hear the word opinion? Man, what do I think of when I hear the word opinion? Is it helpful?
Is it helpful?
Is it helpful? Will it benefit me? Is it beneficial? You know, can I trust the source?
Yeah.
Like one of the things you were saying was like, what history do I have with in that relationship? You know, what history do I have? Has that person showed me prior to this that they meant me harm? You know, if they haven't showed me that they meant me any harm, then, you know, why would I not value the opinion if all they've done is help me, you know?
Facts.
I think feelings. I think of feelings when I hear the word opinion. Because a lot of times we hear people saying, I feel like in my opinion, and it's just like, oh, where's this going?
I feel like, in my opinion.
Yeah, we hear people say that. So it's just like how much facts is coming or how much tangible information is coming behind feelings about your opinion. I put reservation on that. I know some people don't, but I do when I, you know, because I listen to what people say, especially if I'm engaging in conversation with you, because, you know, typically I'm not having small talk with people, you know, and if I do have a conversation, then there's a purpose and a point, you know, even if it's just good morning, how's your day, how, you know, like I'm still asking, I'm still greeting good morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm still asking the person how was their day. If they want to say, if they choose to respond and engage, then they can. If not, but you know, man, what else with opinions? Think a lot of that guessing. I think you know, I think sometimes opinions are guesstimates, you know, they're guess. They're not necessarily
Oh, wow.
substantiated by anything. They just, you know,
That's horrible.
you know, but I mean, but see, but there was that still that duality where it's like it might be valuable, you know,
Might be a good guess.
but you know, because a lot of people don't like, you know, how we always say, you know, we're not the gurus, right?
Facts.
And even like the way we have this structure when we ask, what do you think of, is because we don't know the definition before we pull this up on these words, you know, and we are trying to relearn what we have been taught, you know, just like everyone else has been taught. So our application of them may not be correct in our everyday life, but that's why we try to, you know, that's why we can't be gurus, because only gurus is perfect. You know, they don't never mess up. They don't never have a reason to apologize, you know, because they perfect, right? They Jesus, you know. Right. So, you know, so we say that, we put it out there, that we ain't perfect, you know, especially when it comes to these words, and um we not the gurus, and that's not my opinion. You know,
Now
that,
we follow it up with the definition right after what we say, what we think.
you know, so we know that meanings, a lot of these things, and that's what we talk about when I'm talking about guessing. That's a meaning to me, you know. Is it valid? Does it, you know, is it tangible? Should I evaluate it as some worthy conversation? You know, that's a meaning to me. I don't even know if I am interpreting opinions correctly as of, you know, Sunday, May 24. You know, so So yeah, God, that's what I think of when I hear the word opinion. You know, guessing. Um, maybe it is, you know, some information. Is it tangible? Is it valuable? Is it something worthwhile listening to? Is it just something led by feelings and emotion and not really of any type of logic or anything beneficial that is going to help you in whatever it is that you're trying to figure out or whatever you're engaged in. Yeah. So that's what I got. That's what I got for opinion. So please, y'all, let us know, what do you think of when you hear the word opinion? And in the chat and or in the comment section, depending on when you're watching the show.
Yeah, I got one more, God.
Go ahead.
It's even more throwawayable than advice,
Okay.
right? Because opinions, like you said, like it's, well, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So even when people giving them, they don't even. I see how much I feel like. I feel like they don't even have that expectation of you actually acting upon what they're about to tell. I feel like people who have these conversations, they treat advice and like opinions like elevated conversations, or like just we call them like water cooler topics, just something just to be saying something, and it's nothing that they actually expect any follow through. So that's what I think. I think, you know, I was listening to you just now, and I was like, they're even more throwawayable than advice.
Yeah, I do. I do think people do that. I do think that culturally is something that happens. You know, kind of like that attitude of like, you know, well, that's your problem, that's not mine.
It's just my opinion.
Right. Or it's just, or that's just your opinion of how it should be,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, so yeah, that happens a lot. You know, I do see that happening a lot because of you know, I see a lack of communication, or lack of ability of people to communicate, um, so many different levels. But yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into the definition for opinion. So we are visiting the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Y'all can find that link in the description as well. And we have opinion, a view, judgment, or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter. Okay, that's the first things it gives us: a view, judgment, or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter. Then it says approval, esteem, 1B, and then 2A, we get belief stronger than impression and less strong than positive knowledge. Okay. Then it says 2B, a generally held view. It's just a generally held view. All right. Then we have 3A, a formal written expression of judgment or advice by an expert. Okay. So by an expert. Then we have the formal expression as by a judge, court, or referee of the legal reasons and principles upon which a legal decision is based. Any of those you want to?
Yo, with the exception of number 3,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm getting is opinions are meant to be kept to yourself. So when I was saying about if you give an opinion to somebody and they don't actually action it, you should just chalk it up as you was just thinking out loud. When I see the first one, a view or judgment or appraisal formed in a mind about a particular matter, to me, that means that like you was thinking about that alone. right, for yourself, right? Because it interested you for whatever reason it interested you, and that's what you was thinking about. When I look at number 2, A, and I see a belief stronger than an impression and less stronger than positive knowledge, that kind of reaffirms for me that it's supposed to stay with you, right? It's just supposed to be something that you're supposed to think about and make discernments on, because it's not positive knowledge. So you shouldn't share something that's not positive knowledge. And then when I look at B, 2B, it's a generally held view. Now that's, to me, I think that's tricky, right? Because when I look at it firstly and in my mind, that just so happened that we just could be thinking about something the same way. That don't necessarily mean that we have to think about something the same way, right? If we all look up and see something and we all see the same thing, you know, not all the same thing, but we see something similar, then that's just what we all see. But if I see something completely different and I'm not wrong for what I see, you know what I'm saying? Just because it's different from what you see, I just have a different view. Which means it's more so that it's mine, right? Because now I'm going against popular opinion. I might be the bad guy, right? And they're gonna be scared of me.
Yeah, because it says a generally held view, and I agree. Like people can form those though.
Yeah.
Like people can form generally held views. I think we see that a lot in politics.
Mm-hmm.
We see that a lot in it says the news programs that shape public opinion, you know, a generally held view. I see that where people pick sides on certain social topics and things like that. Where
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see the sentence below it. Yeah.
where you know where we have this cultural thing going on where like, you know, people will develop an opinion and it won't be fact based, and then they'll get other people to buy into it. You know,
And now that's the
it's
thought.
like it's like somebody saying they were exposed, but the only thing that the people did was tell the truth about them. They didn't lie on them. You know, so it's like how are you exposed if the person never lied on you? You know,
I
like they
mean,
told the truth about you. So is that how they exposed you? Because they told the truth on you?
they expose the truth.
So they exposed the truth. They didn't lie. You know? So that's to not cause people to form an opinion. That's to allow people to get the facts and then, you know, have all the correct information to make their determination on how they're going to judge it, right? How they're going to judge the situation, or what they're going to formulate about the situation towards the end, you know, or as it progresses. Um, a belief stronger than impression and less strong than positive knowledge. I mean, it's telling you right there that you know that an opinion isn't factual. It isn't based on anything that is truth. You know, you can have a belief in a whole bunch of stuff, but but it's saying that it is less strong than, you know, I believe. Let's go back to the banana bread real quick. I believe I can bake a banana bread. You know, in my opinion, I make the best one. But have I ever tried it? You know, have I even attempted to go make one? So that would be my opinion. That's not proof. I don't have any positive knowledge to substantiate my belief. But that number one, a view, judgment, or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter. I'm getting where it's like that's in your head.
It's literally in your head.
Yeah, like that's just all in your head. Like when you just ask, are you delusional? Like, cause that's in your head. Like that ain't, you know, like that ain't what's really going on. You know,
Just what you think. It's
it's
just-
what you thinking. You know, but I don't know. You know, like, um, you know, but some people, you know, some people, I think, thinks the world revolves around their thinking. Um, And then we see right here, 3A and B, a formal written expression of judgment or advice by an expert, you know, where they say the doctor says I need surgery, but I'm going to get a second opinion. You know, I've done that. Um, but the second doctor said I needed surgery too. So
yeah, but even look at that though, right? Both doctors are giving their opinion based off the facts that they see in front of them.
all for facts, right? Because it's not just you walked into the doctor's office and said, "Hey, doc, do I need surgery?" And they said,
Yeah.
"But let me look at you."
What the other guy say? How much he charging? I'm gonna go $50 less.
You
I
know?
got you.
Well, look, I can get you a brand new knee for cheaper than a Nissan. You know? So it's like, come on, family. But then 2B, the formal expression as by a judge in a court or referee of the legal reasons and principles upon which a legal decision is based. This seems where opinion has status. Okay, it seemed like that it has that it holds a legal uh status that allows opinion to be accepted even within law. And I think that this is what separates opinion from being a tangible thing, because in the court of law, formal expression, judge, court, referee, legal reasons, you know, like in the games, people watching playoffs right now. By the way, I already had New York going to the final. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna win, but I had them.
Bing bong.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna win, but I had them
Man,
going.
you tripping.
Yeah, I'm just,
Hate it.
you know, I don't want them to win. None of my teams are in there. But when I had a conversation with somebody who was a Philly fan, and I was like, nah. I was like, once they sweep y'all, I was like, they gonna knock everybody else out the box. I was just like, I just don't know if they're gonna have enough juice in the tank, you know, when they get to the finals and they gotta play them younger guys who real hungry for it. So I got OKC and the Knicks, you know. But the referees make calls, you know, and they review the tape, and you know, and those things and those opinions, they look at it. I really don't even call that opinions though, because well, I guess they do, because
they are based off this, because when you just said just now they review the tapes, they didn't always do that. It was the floor referee made the call, and that was it. And if he or she had a bias, then nobody could do nothing about it. But since they started reviewing the tape, I mean, it makes it a little harder.
well, yeah, now and you know what, and you made a good point, because I'm sure like when basketball first started, or any pro sports for that matter that isn't fairly new, um, you know, they started the inception of it, they didn't have replay.
No.
You know, and then replay has become more advanced now through with technology, because you can slow it down to the millisecond, you know, and actually see everything. We got different court views and different views with camera views. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty sweet. But that's where I see those opinions being used, validated. It seems like you know, in the courts, in sports, and in the medical field, opinions have validity. It doesn't
Any place else? Don't seem like it matters.
any place else. It don't seem like it matters, right?
Seem like you're just thinking out loud, like you just, you know,
Yeah.
your opinion is literally just thinking out loud based off Webster.
Yep. So let's head on over to the thesaurus and see what type of synonyms they give us for opinion. So we have as in belief and also as in decision. And then we have belief, an idea that is believed to be true or valid without positive knowledge. So we have belief, view, mind, attitude, feeling. There you go that word. Feeling, conviction, impression, perception, sentiment, judgment, verdict, notion, idea, comment, observation. That's wow. That's different. Estimate, estimation. They even have advice in here. A thought, persuasion, assumption, decision, viewpoint, suggestion, a guess, theory, a recommendation, a remark, a perspective, a presumption, a conclusion, a say man, hey man, hypothesis, concept, determination, faith. Wow. Stance, esteem, reflection, conception, hunch. I got a hunch. Conjecture, position, stand, input, standpoint, presupposition, credence, credit, take, outlook, surmise, angle, shoes, counter view. God help me with that one right there, God.
Obiter dictum?
Obiter dictum.
No, obiter dictum. I got the 1 T, I think. Yeah.
Okay. That deliverance and the slant. And the antonyms are facts and truth to all of that. Fact and truth. Yeah.
Yo, so observation caught me off guard too, but I started thinking different people's viewpoints and their observations being opinions.
I get that. No, I get that.
When I started looking at the rest of the words, I was like, all right, because I was like, that threw me. I'm like, nah, you looking at it. What do you mean?
No, you're right, God, because that's a beautiful point, because I correlate that to a situation where, you know, people on the outside looking in were making an observation.
Yeah.
So in their opinion, they deem me to be a certain type of way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I look at it like, nah, your opinion is wrong, because you know, well, I would say this. The observation that was made, that was given an opinion, was to misery. And I would say that misery loves company. Some people just want to be left alone. You know? So that's what I would say to that, because often people think that that's the case. So we see opinion as in decision. All right. So decision, a position arrived at after consideration. Okay. So it's crazy that consideration is in opinion as a decision. Because they could be absolutely considering all the wrong factors. So it doesn't say that the right things were considered. It doesn't say that truths and facts were considered. It's just after consideration. So that's, and then the decision happened that the person made, you know? So, you know, I've done that too, made a mistake doing something, and, you know, I arrived, you know, at a position, you know, after not considering my actions, you know? So you got to think before you do stuff, because you never know what it could turn out to be. Definitely. So we got decision, verdict, conclusion, determination, judgment, diagnosis, resolution, view, award, ruling, choice, call, finding, sentence, mandate, deliverance, consensus, instruction, decree, order, belief, adjudication, conviction, word, selection, disposition, option, dictate, directive. Is that what we see right there?
Yeah.
Commandment. Not the commandments. All 10 of them. Mind, the last word, sentiment, say so, behest. And what is that?
Edict.
Edict. Okay. Feeling, charge, notion, persuasion, doom, and I. Okay. So
yeah, that all returns like that's, I get all that. Like that's,
yeah, I'm understanding these indecision.
yeah, clearly. And how they apply to number 3 of the definition.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely, especially in the courts and being awarded the ball, right?
Yeah.
Making the call, you know, yeah, all of those things we can tie them to it, you know. The commandments though is crazy. That is crazy, and that's just because I would think that
maybe that's not the commandments, but just the word commandment, because maybe it was such a heavy word back in those days, and it meant that.
Right, but I'm not even putting it on the Bible. So forget the
word.
I'm just saying commandment, the commandment, you know, not the 10 commandments, right? I'm saying like when I think of a commandment, I'm thinking military. You know, other than biblical, I'm thinking military, like, you know, the command.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you giving a direct order, you're being commanded to do something. You know, and I get it in decision, but I guess I get that after a position arrived at after consideration. So in that case, there may have been you giving an order, there would have been some consideration into what needs to be done, because who would you command to do it? You want to task the most qualified person, or the person you think will be able to complete the task, right?
Yeah, you know what I wish they would do? I wish that they would, in a thesaurus, correlate. You see how they got as in belief and as in decision? I wish that they would correlate the numbers to the definitions that these apply to, so that somebody wouldn't think that they could use an opinion as a decision, as indecision, by doing some consideration of some stuff. Right.
I mean, that's true, but we studying it because we know daggone well, from your point, God, you know daggone well, like that's not going to be a belief stronger than impression, than positive knowledge, you know?
Right, like.
So we would know. So for us, yes, and that's why we have the conversations, exchange the insights, break it down, because we can collectively agree right now that part of the synonym does not apply to a generally held view. It does not apply to a belief stronger than impression or less stronger than positive knowledge. A view, judgment, or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter. You know, because the decision had to be made.
And it had to be written down, it had to be publicized, right? It had to withstand appeal and all that stuff, and ridicule and whatnot. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, right? Because I feel like somebody. Well, it's just because I'm looking at this. I'm thinking I should never ever say, "Well, my opinion is this," unless I'm an expert on a particular thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking not to use the word no more at all.
You know what I'm saying, guys?
I'm thinking I'm going to work on not even using, in my opinion, at all. Like,
yeah,
you know,
because
like
I'm not
I
a
practice not
doctor.
saying a lot of things.
Yeah, right. Like I'm saying, this should be taken out of the lexicon unless you're a doctor, lawyer, or a referee, or something like that, based off of this definition. And even the way that they're using a thesaurus that supports this, it's just my opinion. It's actually an insult. I find it to be offensive now, right? Like,
well, I'm not offended by it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not offended by
I'm a
it.
little more sensitive than you, though.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. You know, but I'm more sensitive about other things though. You
That's
know,
true.
so so like yeah, I have my Ralph Tresvant moments with certain things. You know, if y'all don't know Ralph Tresvant, I need a man with she need a
sense.
man with
What she
sense.
need, right? Man,
You need a man.
we both, man. I ain't tripping on that. But
Yeah, so but yeah, but definitely. But I do see a reason to not use opinion
yeah,
in my own language, in my
yes.
own communication, because we know that the connotation of it socially is, oh well, it's just an opinion. We talked about that with advice, where you could have a suggestion, opinion, or recommendation to get to wisdom of like positive knowledge, but it was just like, how do you weave through the opinion, the suggestion, and the recommendation part to validate it, in the mind of how, in the social construct, that nobody values opinions, nobody really values a recommendation, or suggestion. So so we have opinion, y'all. We have opinion as in belief and as in decision. And then we can go over here back to the definition one more time, and we see opinion, a view or judgment or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter, approval, esteem, a belief stronger than impression, less strong than positive knowledge, a generally held view, a formal written expression of judgment or advice by an expert, and 3B, the formal expression as by a judge, court, or referee of legal reasons and principles upon which a legal decision is based. And that is our definition of opinion. So let us know what y'all think about that in the live chat or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. And we're going to go ahead and get to our second question of the evening. When can sharing an opinion become harmful, feeling like criticism?
Personally, I think sharing opinions are harmful all the time. Especially now I'm looking at this definition. Again, unless you ask, right? I think that is only not harmful because you may not. So this the thing, right? I can see the benefit of an opinion if you do, like when you brainstorming, you're just throwing ideas up on a wall and trying to see what sticks or trying to see what you can work with or whatever. And somebody else helping you brainstorm are valuable opinions. That's a valued opinion in my mind, right? Because you're not looking for a fact or something like that. You're just looking for some more thoughts, and those more thoughts could be useful. So unless you're brainstorming,
how does that sound, God? How does that sound? Scenario? How does that sound when someone does that? When someone does that, how do you initiate that conversation of a valued opinion? What does that sound like? Use me and you. What is that? I ain't
So
asked you nothing, right? I haven't asked you nothing, or did I ask you? Did I invite your valued opinion, or did I not ask you anything and you just offered it? You know, what is that's what I'm trying to help the audience understand, like how to land that plane, how to do that, you know, because you're
see,
absolutely right that it could be negative, it could be perceived negative, it could be received positive.
like so we already value each other, right? So which is first. Like you have to value the person, but also you wouldn't start telling me about some farming stuff unless you got your hands dirty and you knew that I knew that your hands was dirty, and now you coming to me as a farmer on this conversation and not as somebody that hasn't got their hands dirty. So that's how it happens with us, and not just with you and me. Like that's how it happens with all the people that I value. Just organically and naturally, everybody just value each other enough to do what the next person needs to keep the relationship where it needs to be, right? So that's tough. That's tough. That's tough to answer.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but I think that is I think opinions come across as criticism all the time when it's not asked for, right? Or if somebody's talking to you from a place where their hands have not been dirty, right? If you ain't played in the dirt, if you ain't dug up nothing, um, and I'm just using myself in gardening, talking to me or telling me what I should be doing, right, or what I should be growing. What you should grow next is this. Like, unless you want me to grow that so you can buy it, I'm kind of upset. What you telling me?
Okay, that's fair. But what if they're not giving you an opinion on what you should grow? What if it's an opinion on using a certain thing? You know, using a tool or something.
And again, unless they have experience with that in that field, it's noise, right? Because I need number three opinions, right, from experts. You know what I'm saying? I need those are the opinions that. And when I'm talking to you about something, right, you give me the math back, like it's from what you have done and what you've seen, and from your successes and from your failures, which are valuable to me. Like your failures are valuable to me,
Right.
right? So, um, I think it all starts with valuing the person that you're engaging with in the first place, right? To where I heard my sons talking the other day, and my youngest son asked my older son. He said, "I want to ask you something, but I don't want to make it sound crazy." And his older brother was like, "Yo, son, like you my brother. There's nothing that you can ask me that's gonna make me hate you. Like there's nothing that you can say to me that's gonna make me discard you or whatever. Like just act, just say it. Like don't be timid, don't be shy, don't be none of that because you're safe with me, right? And that's important, right? Because if you don't feel safe with that person, then even in formulating your thoughts, to even ask a person a question about something may come across like, man, I don't really want to ask this person because they're gonna come back with a whole bunch of rah rah. I don't really want to hear none of that. And then when they do, it's like, see, I ain't even want none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even want none of this. But and now they're not listening to you, or now they're not listening to advice that they may have asked for, or a conversation that they may have allowed to happen or something. I don't know. It's weird, man. Like you know, like I said, now that I'm looking at the definition, I'm more to the fact like I don't want nobody's opinion about nothing, right? And nor am I gonna give you mine, right? Because those are my thoughts, and that's just how Ali thinks. And we don't need too many Aliites. You know what I mean? One is enough.
No doubt. So right now, y'all smash that like button, y'all, if y'all watching this right now, and let us know what you think of when sharing an opinion. Oh, when can sharing an opinion become harmful, feeling like criticism? A bit. I ain't even see I got become harmful. And then that's what happened when I be rushing. I should be. See, that just show you I don't put these shows together weeks at a time. I be, you know. But yeah, so that's what we're answering, y'all. Let us know in the comment section. When can sharing an opinion become harmful, feeling like criticism? Man, I believe definitely when it's not asked. I'm agreeing with that one. When it's not asked, people will misinterpret something. It's kind of like going back to what I was saying. Is the information valid? Is it tangible? Is it coming from someone who is experienced? A lot of times people don't take the time to evaluate that though. You know, is the person trying to help me, or are they trying to harm me? Like you can share an opinion with somebody, I guess, you know. And I wouldn't even think it's an opinion. I would think it's more like advice, because now understanding the definition of, or having a better understanding of opinion, I don't give opinions. I deal with truth and facts, you know. So I can understand why people who deal with opinions dislike truth and facts. I can see why that bothers them, why that gives them why that makes them uncomfortable, because you know they're not going to be able to to finesse you with lies. You're not going, you're going to take your time and realize, like, okay, is this a lie? You're going to assess the situation. You're just not going to be quick to, well, I think you should do it. In my opinion, I feel like, in my opinion, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, that, you know what? I ain't had no feeling, no opinion, no nothing about it. But what you said sound good. So let's just go with the sound good, right? Like, we're not going to do no research. We're not going to do no, due diligence. We're not going to make sure anything is in compliance. None of that. We just going to basically do what we want to do regardless. And then worry about the negative consequence later, if there is one. So, I think the main reason why is something that you said, where like just people not really valuing the people that they have the conversations with. They just really don't. They don't value the people that offer, when you offer an advice. And I think a lot of times people don't do enough self-reflection too, to determine whether it is criticism, or are they being factual? It's a difference when you say, when I've said to somebody, I use my life, let my life be an example. I said to a friend before, I see you doing this. This is what you're doing. This is a pattern. So I'm trying to figure out if this is this you? Is this what you want? Is this what you settling for? Or are you, is because you seem to be comfortable with this. I think you can do better. I think you are better than that. because all of the people that you know, I would say maybe value their opinions in that, you know, you're comfortable with them doing stuff for you, but you're not trying to do that much for yourself, you know? So I think you can. I think it's because you're soaking up the game from everybody. So it's like how, you know, or are you just a sponge that can't squeeze
Hmm.
out none of it, you know? But that person took it as like, you know, that's my opinion. I'm negative. You know, I'm rude. I'm this. I'm whatever. However they took it, I still don't know to this day. But my thing is like, I wasn't going off of no guess. I wasn't going off of what they say like a belief stronger than impression and less stronger than positive knowledge. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going off of positive knowledge. like I seen you do this. I've watched you do this, you know, for years. So at this point in time, I'm still willing to help as I have been, but I'm just acknowledging the fact that like, okay, am I enabling? You know, and I don't want to enable you anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you're treating it like an enablement versus help. You know, so you know, help is I need a little help to get me through so I can get here because I have a plan. Enablement is, you know, come on through and then you will figure out your plan.
Hmm.
You know, when you get here, no, you know, like you should have your plan coming in the door because now you looking like a drifter. You're not looking like somebody that has a plan that just needs help to get to it, to get to there, to reach their goal. So, you know, that's where I think opinions can be. And I think that the reason why that person probably hadn't self-reflected or had anybody to say that to them, so they received it negatively, you know, and then maybe say, well, that's just your opinion. But it's like, but I'm taking it from facts though. I'm not just coming up with this thing in my head randomly because I'm delusional and I think, you know, you need to do something my way or that you like, I ain't on none of that. I'm saying this what you've been doing, you know? So you mad at me because I'm identifying what you've been doing because I'm calling it out. But like, look, I ain't telling nobody else. I'm just telling you. I'm having a conversation with the person who's doing it,
And that's it.
you know? So it's like, so it don't come to the point where, you know, I may have to tell somebody else because I'm just like, at this point, I need help, you know, you know, because, you know, like I don't want to, I'm not gonna crash, you know, like ain't nobody gonna trick me out, you know what I'm saying? I'm all the hard work and everything that, you know, all the complications in life I had to get through to be here, you know. When I was born, they broke my leg, I was breech, you know, so I came out, you know. Yeah, I came out struggling. You know, we came out the womb at a disadvantage, you know. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, I got, and even in to my mother's uh defense, you know, she didn't take their opinion at that time that I wouldn't walk normally, you know, that I wouldn't go to play sports and be athletic and you know, they saying dude gonna walk, you know, toe up his whole life. Now I ended up after going in the military getting injured with the walk that they with the walk they said that I was gonna have, you know, that I should have had from a jit. But you know, I look at it just like, you know, we ain't down, you know.
Correct.
Yeah, we ain't down. So criticism is tough though. Criticism is always negative. You know, I encourage y'all to look up the word criticism, the definition of it. It's always negative. There's no such thing as positive criticism.
Critique is different.
Critique is different, right? Critique is the positive.
That's positive.
Yeah. But criticism is always negative. So let us know what y'all think. When can sharing an opinion become harmful, feeling like criticism? Moving on to our third question. The saying, opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one. Is it true? Yes or no, and why? Let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Is it true? Opinions like a-holes? Everybody got one? And if so, why? What you think, God?
I think it is true. I think everybody's trying to be a star or influencer, right? I think everybody trying to be the person that said "I told you so," or "I did this," or be a main character.
Main
right?
character.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's what that's about, right? The subservience of, you know, somebody's gonna always think about me because I did something for them. Every time they get their paycheck, they gotta thank me because I'm the one that got them that job.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I think people think crazily, right? Like,
but you ain't the one showing up every day.
You're the one showing up every day.
Like, damn, you could be happy to help your person get some employment, you know, like help the person get a lifeline if you wanted to continue to hold them over their head. Well, if it wasn't for you doing it, then I wouldn't be, but you wouldn't be like.
Correct, right?
Yeah, that's awful.
But now, more especially looking at the definition, I think that is more applies now because it should be kept in your mind, right? It's something that you should keep to yourself, unless we're doing an activity, unless we're brainstorming, or unless you're a professional, like unless you're number 3, right? But besides that, then you just giving me more noise and just more stuff, and yeah, God, I just like, you know, it's just, I don't see any value. I don't see nothing wrong or anything wrong with saying I don't know.
Man.
Right? I'm not sure. Like I've never heard of that before, and let me go look that up. Like I'm curious.
Go look at it.
Now I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I got the supercomputer in my hand, right?
Man. Well, I got the supercomputer in my head.
Right.
But I got a machine that can help me activate it.
Exactly,
know?
Right.
The powers of Grayskull, you know. You know.
And that's what I think. I think that people just be out here wanting to be main characters and just spewing stuff and wanting to look down, right? I think it is a part of put down. I think people do want to looking for that aha, I told you so, right? It come like even when people can see somebody going down the wrong path, tell a person they're going down the wrong path, the person ignores them, and still want to help that person when they spin the block, but they only want to help them if the person can accept them saying aha, I told you so, to their satisfaction, and then they feel like they humbled the person enough, and now they can go ahead and do greatness, right? I think that's
that sounds like you need to clean house, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the wrong people around you.
Yeah, that's
like that's what I'm saying. Like
people ain't for you.
And that's what I think. You know, the those people aren't for you. I think that's what the sentence means or the statement means, right? Those people aren't for you because they're just telling you stuff, and it's not brainstorming per se, right? Because even brainstorming is around a specific subject matter, and it's not random thoughts, right? It's just looking for another way to think about this problem, right? Not just give me what you're thinking about today, and not compared to what I'm thinking about today. That's not brainstorming. Like, I don't know what that is, but that ain't that. You know what I mean?
It's exchanging thoughts, that's for sure. It's exchanging thought. It is an exchange of
It is an exchange of thoughts. I guess that's true. Right, for whatever value that is worth, right? But that's what I think, like, I think it's a true statement, and I think it's because people want to be main characters and want to feel important.
Want to feel important, yeah. Yeah, I like that part about I told you so, because I'm a I told you so person. But I'm only a I told you so person. Well, let me not say that. I'm a I told you so person, you know, but not maliciously. You know, I'm not a malicious I told you so person. I'm one of them I told you so people that's just like, I told you so. You know, but what do we do now?
What we do now?
Because that's done. You know, like, okay. And it's not to harbor, you should have listened, because it's done. You know, what's done is done. Like, you can't get, you can get a go over, but you won't get to fix that turn. You know, like, that turn is done. So that's the reason why I do the I told you so, because a lot of times though, when I have done it, I'm just checking, I'm evaluating the relationship. Like, you know, like in certain instances, it's just like, why would you think that I would tell you something that wasn't going to be beneficial? Why would you think it was just opinion? You know, like,
Correct.
like when I like when I've shared with you things that are beneficial before, you know. So like, we don't have a history of me sharing with you bad things, right? So why would you do a bad thing to me, be disrespectful, or why would you think that I'm going to, you know, that I'm sharing information with you that's going to be harmful? Like, I don't have nobody time to waste. That's the
Especially
thing.
mine.
You know, like, but I'm saying I can waste my own time doing things that I enjoy on my own. You know, like, I don't need you to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all.
And it'd only be a waste of time from the other person's observation.
That's it, you know. So I'm just like, you know, like, I don't have a problem with, you know, I like myself, you know. So I don't have a problem with spending time with myself, you know. I don't get bored of myself. You know. But our question, y'all, is the saying, opinions are like a-holes. Is it true? Yes or no, and why? Man, I think it's very true. Understanding now that the top 3 of the definition is where culture sits at. You know, culture rests on those. It is only the application in the bottom 2 definitions where we saw in the professional, in the court systems, in the sports systems, where we seeing there being some useful logic application of opinion. Okay. And those top 3, it's just all, it seemed like it's just emotion filled. There is no due diligence done to be factual. Is like that saying that we talked about, how people, I feel, in my opinion, that's the way that the conversations or the communications are being led. It's not being substantiated by anything that is actual, factual. It's actual factual that can say, okay, can we use this information? Is it, is this person lying? Is this person telling the truth? Is this how much of that is accurate? How much of that is false? How much of that is valid? How much of that is going to be helpful and beneficial? How much of that can I use? All right. So, and normally when you are helping people, or you are lending advice, or, then it's something that can be helpful, that can be beneficial. It can be useful. And a lot of times it may not just be useful to them, it may be useful to everybody. That it may be something that you can take and share with other people too, because this benefits all of us. It's not a selfish thing. It's not just trying to be selfish, but it's just how I feel about it, what I want. It's like I'm never on that, Like, trust me, I got 10 acres right now I'm trying to get on. God.
Word.
For real, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still enjoying life. I'm happy where we at, what we got going on. But trust me, I am motivated to get on them acreage, I understand the value of truly having your own land, like more now than ever. We still gonna own real estate, cash flow it on my rich dad, poor dad situation. But we need to live where we can have, you know,
Be
uh,
in abundance at all times.
be in abundance. Yeah. So let's see what we got. The saying, opinions are like a-holes. Is it true? Yes or no? And why? Let us know in the comment section. If you're watching right now, make sure to smash that like button, or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. Moving on to question number 4. Why do people hold tightly to opinions when evidence proves otherwise? Let us know in the chat, y'all. Let us know in the chat what you think. And yeah. Why do people hold tightly to opinions when evidence proves otherwise, God?
Opinions, what they say, faith-based, belief-based, no strong knowledge, right? You don't have to do anything but feel. With evidence, you have to respond accordingly. Like, you actually have to do something, right? Like, if you look at the number 3 definitions, what they alluded to was things that came from Supreme Court judges and referees and doctors and stuff like that. Like, those things were somebody had to do something. Somebody had to follow that. Like, have to, right? Like, this, you be breaking the law if you go against what's written down, kind of thing, right?
The rules.
The rules.
Their
opinions, because their opinions matter. Their opinions carry so much weight that
right.
They are the rules.
Right.
Right. My opinion could be just a rule for me.
No, you follow the rules. I'm not following the rules. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and then ain't gonna be no consequence of it. And ain't gonna be no negative consequence of it or not. It's just everybody gonna say I don't have to follow the rules, right?
I don't have to follow the rules, right? And so that's what I think. I think that we lazily talk to the wrong people and get the wrong advice from the wrong people, because of the expectation of actual action, and the amount of work that we got to do is less. If we go to the right resource, one, we actually got to get prepared mentally to go communicate with the right resource, right? So we can't be shucking and jiving. We got to be presentable so that the person takes us seriously, so that they don't feel like their time is going to be wasted off rip, right? Then we got to be receptive to what the resource is saying, and then we actually got to go implement that, because the resource has expectations, because they just exchanged their time with you, right? So that's a lot of work. That's a lot of I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. If you just following based off your feelings, you just gotta feel that. Like you ain't gotta brush your teeth.
Following the rules is too much work, right? Because you actually have to follow the rules, right?
Like it's not even,
you gotta know them. Because you gotta know them to follow them.
It's not even about too much work. It's literally work.
Oh, so typically a person in that situation just doesn't want to work at all anyway. They want to escape. They want to just
they want it to magically go away, and just they want to
as much reward as possible with as least work as possible.
Correct.
I can get that. I can dig that.
And then they tell themselves that that's capitalism, right? They say, and I'm like, all right, no, but all right. Don't
have that insurance. Don't have that. Yeah.
That's what I think. I think it's just feelings don't require any work, and evidence is a responsibility to do work.
Is a fear of responsibility and a lack of effort to do work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, y'all, we are smoking on opinion, and we answering question number 4 right now. Why do people hold tightly to opinions when evidence proves otherwise? And the guy just said, people are lazy. I mean, to sum it up, I heard what you just sum it up. It's just like people lazy, it's easier to skate a corner and try to cheat or try to be deceptive or lie and things like. And it's so crazy because I don't think so.
It's way more work.
It seems like it's way more work to do that, because when you just dealing with the truth, like you just dealing with facts, you dealing with the actual tangible stuff, and you don't have to fabricate nothing. Like you don't have to make up nothing. You don't have to look for something else to make up to try to make your story be more legitimate or make your perspective or your point be this or that. You just tell the truth. Deal with the facts. Do I like having a roof over my head? Okay, so then what do I need to go do to do that? I necessarily shouldn't need somebody with an opinion to say, well, in my opinion, you should probably want to get a job or something, or find you some type of stable income that would allow you to be able to sustain a roof over your head. It should almost be my innermost desire to say, I value that, I need it, I want it, I gotta have it. So I need to do the things necessary for me to maintain that and keep that. So it's not something that I'm stressing over. I don't even want to stress to maintain it. So then even in that goes into a deeper context of, or mind's thought of like, okay, so how do I do that? Well, I need to live within my budget. I need to not think that I deserve something that I can't truly afford, and I'm struggling to maintain it. But somebody would say, well, that's your opinion, right? They would say that that's your opinion, but I would be like, well, it's the difference between me being comfortable and another person feeling as though that they're constantly struggling.
Hmm.
You know, so I would say, no, that's not my opinion. That's coming from a person who has struggled. I could share my struggle if you got time for coffee, you know. You know, you know, want to have a coffee and a couple of croissants or something, you know, then I got time for it, you know, but it's gonna need that time. You know, we're gonna have to talk about it because it wasn't overnight. It didn't happen overnight. You know, what you see now is something that took decades. You know, it wasn't, and I ain't hit no lottery. Like I did hit the lottery um as far as realizing the difference between those things of prioritizing needs and wants, and then understanding that once I prioritize them, now I need to figure out how to balance them and maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's a lottery for me, but that's a learning lesson. That was an L because I took L's going through it, you know. But then I also look at like them L's was part of the lottery because yeah, they was learning lessons, but they also made me hit. They allowed me to hit, you know, hit my goals, hit my targets. So people would take that as an opinion, but then the proof is physical, you know, but then you got physical proof, you know. So I really think that that it's just not a lot of self-reflection. I think that's why people hold tightly to them. You know, that it's just not a lot of self-reflection. I don't think people do enough self-work. I think we kind of caught up in trying to do what the next person is doing, is follow trends and follow this and that. And people are scared to say, you know, like no, I'm okay with not being with the crowd. You know, I'm okay with not having, you know, a whole bunch of people around me all the time. I'm okay with not having you know, whatever you think your social norm is that you value and you need for you. You know, I'm okay with you having that for you, and I'm okay with having mine structured the way mine look like.
Correct.
You know, because I may have done that already, and through my experiences, you know, I'm choosing what I choose now as that model because that's what works better, you know, for my mental health, right? So because I always say, you know, like if you a black person in America and you ain't crazy, then something is wrong with you.
Probably came from someplace else.
You know, so crazy ain't never a problem. You know, it's levels to it though. You know, but definitely, you know, we not so crazy where we don't understand that the rules matter. You know, and that we need that the evidence, you know, is more important than an opinion. Yeah. So let us know what y'all think. Why do people hold tightly to opinions when evidence proves otherwise? You know, maybe it just makes them comfortable too. Maybe they just, I think of that, and you know, I think socially a lot more people are comfortable with lies than the truth because like you said, when you have the truth makes you want to do, you have to do something. You know, when you have the truth, you have to own up to it. You have to look.
You gotta do stuff.
Yeah, like, you know, when you lie, you just, you know,
Just gotta accept it.
yeah, you just keep, but you just have to tell another lie. You just hope somebody believes your lie, you know? And then when you get caught in it, then you look stupid. And it's just like, damn, you could have just told the truth. And, you know, then it wouldn't be, people wouldn't be feeling right here. What up, Bug? Feeling for sure, you know, exposed. So let us know what y'all think in the comment section, in the chat, you know, chat. Let us know what y'all think in the chat. And also let us know in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. It's about that time that we get into the flavor bombs for this week. And man, we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff going. So we're gonna jump into the flavor bombs, and then we're gonna come back to our fifth and final, last but not least question. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like if y'all rocking with us, and let us know what you think in the chat, y'all.
Flavor Bombs, presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
All right, so for this week's Flavor Bombs on Cigar Sundays Live, y'all, we got the shooting at the White House Memorial Weekend. There's been another attempt, man. President Trump, he can't keep nobody from it. You know, everybody out here, it's crazy.
You serious, God?
I'm dead serious. Yep, another shooting at the White House. Well, another attempt, you know, to try Trump, you know. And I don't get it. I don't get it. We'll talk about it. But then we got TSA allows medical cannabis through the airports now, y'all. Medical cannabis is good to fly in the friendly skies. You can sky high, sky high, sky high. Then you know, and I know. And then we're gonna head to South Jamaica, Queens. Rap legend 50 Cent is giving back to the youth, y'all. Shout out to 50 Cent doing something positive, man. Last time we had something on him, he was donating money from the
in Shreveport, right?
In Shreveport to the victims, to nonprofits that support victims of domestic violence.
Yeah.
And SA. And he was donating proceeds from that Diddy documentary that was on Netflix that was so controversial. And now he's in Houston, you know, continuing to give back. So we got a story and we're gonna go check that out. Let's go ahead and get to that.
Flavor Bombs, presented to
Whoa, okay.
An ambulance with its lights and siren on left the area where a man opened fire on Secret Service officers outside the White House Saturday evening, shocking those nearby.
It was scary. I didn't understand what happened.
This family was directed away from the White House just after the shooting.
Did you start, please keep walking, please keep walking?
The shooting was even more concerning for journalists who were reporting from the north lawn of the White House, including CBS News correspondent Aaron Navarro.
Reporting on Capitol Hill.
The Secret Service ordered everyone to rush
Damn, you heard the shots in the background, God?
Yeah.
inside the White House. A person familiar with the investigation tells CBS News the suspected shooter was identified as 21-year-old Nasir Best, and that last July he tried to gain entry into the White House and was arrested, then sent to a psychiatric hospital for mental health issues. Court records show he told Secret Service officers he was Jesus Christ and wanted to be arrested. In this incident, a Secret Service spokesman says that
he said he was Jesus Christ, God.
He said he was Jesus Christ.
I'm at the White House. Tell President Trump Jesus is here to see him. Jesus, yes, Jesus Christ.
Jesus the Christ.
Jesus the Christ is here to see him. You know, clear his whole schedule for today because Jesus the Christ is here. Yeah, and they threw him directly into let me be mindful because mental health is serious. They directly escorted him to a mental health facility, okay, so he could get some treatment immediately.
Oh, he not dead after all this?
Oh yeah, he done met Jesus now.
I'm about to say
with Jesus.
But he gotta be with the Lord.
Yeah, he's with Jesus now. Yeah, he. I don't know if he wasn't him, but he's next to him now.
Gunman approached a checkpoint around 6 p.m. Saturday, pulled a weapon from his bag, and started shooting. The officers returned fire, striking the suspect, who died at a nearby hospital. A bystander was also hit by gunfire. The Secret Service says none of its officers were injured. President Trump was inside the White House during the shooting. On social media, he thanked the Secret Service and police for their swift actions.
Okay, so what you got on that guy? Young brother, 21, 22 years old. Nazir Best. I don't think that was his name, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a tragic story. It did say he was dealing with some mental health issues. You say this thing that nobody wants to be first, right? Is this an example of him trying to be a first? Or is this just a crash dummy move that just it had no, in his opinion, he thought it was gonna work. So
I had no idea, like
or was he just really off his meds,
more than likely off his meds. At this point, like, is Trump like the most shot at president in our history? Like,
I know it's been 3 attempts this year.
you know what I'm saying? Like, as the good American that I am, I kind of almost want him to step down for his own life, for his own safety.
Yeah, right. Good, nice. I like that. I like how I'm sure it's a whole bunch of people right now that is, y'all should be, everybody who watches it should definitely smash the like button for the guy Ali Dawood. And go buy a copy of 160 Self-Sustainability, the way he slid that one in there. So Trump should just go ahead and resign because his life is in danger, man. It's dangerous. Trump, get out of there.
It's dangerous. Just get out of there, son. Like, it ain't worth it. Like, America is not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Historically, the most targeted president, man.
Like, I think they should just be like, yeah, you got to resign for his own safety, man. Like, I'm just tired of seeing, my president getting shot at.
I'm sorry. I'm just, all right. One more time. Say it one more time, God, for the people.
Nah, like as a citizen, I'm really sick and tired of seeing my president getting shot at, right? And at this point, I'm saying he should step down and let somebody new get in there, because clearly, either the people don't want him in there, or somebody don't want him in there, because we said that's the third time this year, right? Like, that's a lot.
It is very concerning,
I mean, how many times do you got to get shot at before you move off the block?
Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know? Let's just say at 19 I made my mind up. Let's just say that. Let's just say at 19 I made my mind up. Yeah. Because I don't even think that getting shot at was the horrible part in my experience. The horrible part was going to go sit in jail and prison. It was going to go sit in prison and spend the rest of my life in prison. That to me was more of a kick in the hind parts than worried about that, because yeah.
But he made his prison, like, he not going to prison. Like, he just got to keep ducking. Like, he almost got as many attempts as what's the god over there?
You see, he got to keep ducking. He's insulated. What do you mean?
One time with his ear though was
Dead. He's dead. He is deceased. Okay. You see what that got him? You see what that earshot got him?
He got his ass quick.
Do not even go to jail free. You don't get you get no more rolls of the dice. Okay. And that's what happened with this young fella too, you know. So it's just not a wise thing. It's not a wise choice. And you know, you can take it as professional opinion, not even from experience. And I would say from experience of watching what happens. That other guy, he's going to jail forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that stormed the ballroom, the Whitehouse dinner. Yeah, he's gonna get hit with the same charges, and they're gonna lock him up, put him in solitary for 20 years. You know. Yeah, so I mean, I don't see the value in it. I don't see the point at all.
Man, unless all these people are just suicidal and, you know, suicide by Trump. I don't know, man.
That may be no, they don't want that to be a trend.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just it's weird. But yeah, nah. President needs to stop getting shot at though. That ain't cool.
President does need to stop getting shot at though. That is a real. I definitely agree with that guy. Like it's just showing that, you know, the state of society is really wild. You know, it's getting wilder and wilder and wilder.
Yo, amateur perspective, right? My president's being shot at home at his front door while the country's at war with. I don't know. That's they got to stop. Either they got to stop publicizing that, or it just got to stop altogether, right? Or the war got to stop. Something like I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable with somebody getting shot at his front door while we at war at the same time, right? Like I just feel like the enemy could just use one of those people as a threat, a sleep aid, you know, whatever. I don't like it.
I really, God, we don't have communities anymore
At all.
We have neighborhoods, and I think that is emblematical of what society is right now, is a big ass neighborhood. People are scared to say this. People scared of the kids. They scared to say this. They scared to stand up for this. Or kids scared to stand up for that. They scared to be truthful. People want to have rather have numbers of powers of people that are just agreeable versus like that don't make no sense. Like that ain't even like that's, and they feel more comfortable doing that than actually being right about the rightness, in the so-called what we call the Black community concept. Okay, look how that's how Black people treat each other in these neighborhoods where we see, like in Chicago, these places like that, Chicago, all this violence, New Orleans, DC, New York, LA, California, and a few other places. They shooting at the block that's 2 blocks over, or the guys that live down the street, they share the school. They go to school together. They go to the same grocery store. Their mamas and them go to the same grocery store, go to the same corner store. That's and they shooting at each other. So it seems like it's a direct representation of the climate in America, the social climate going on. And it seems like because nobody wants to be better, because better is demonized. What make you, when you don't follow the crowd, you arrogant. When you want people to do better, then you think you better. When you say, let's follow the rules and this is the standard and let's make that the standard because we'll preserve something for everybody, then, you know, who you think you are to enforce the rules? Like, you ain't even enforce them. You just like, I'm following them and we all should follow them. You know, like, I don't want to enforce it. I'm just reminding you, you know what I'm saying? You know, because you may not have somebody that reminds you. You may have somebody that's quick to call the police on you. You know, you may have somebody that's quick to just want to put a, unalive you or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you may have somebody that want to physically harm you, want to fight you, you know? So like, if you're just verbally trying to remind somebody like, hey, these are like, I don't get it, but it's still negative energy that's permeating out here where, you know, nobody wants to be told and then they want to be told, but only if it's by somebody with a badge, you know, or
and only when they got their gun out, if I'm going to go to jail, and
you know, a threat to arrest, like just not just, hey, do you mind, you know, following the rules? Because we both got to follow them. We all got to follow them, you know, like we don't have to make this difficult. You know, we all follow the rules. I promise all of us benefit the same. You know, we all win. Because and it don't be about me, you know, it may be about us collectively, all of us, you know, everyone benefiting. But I think it directly just reflects the climate, the social climate in America. Interesting though.
The TSA is now allowing people with their medical marijuana to board planes. Many of them saying there's still a lot of confusion.
I was just now hearing about it, and I'm so glad they are, man, because there's so many people that actually need their medical medicine.
Passengers at Orlando International Airport reacting to the TSA policy, which now allows medical marijuana to be stored in both checked and carry-on luggage.
Let's read that right there. That says, what can I bring? Medical Mary Jane.
Yes, with special instructions.
Yes, special instructions. Carry-on bags, check bags. TSA screening procedures are focused on security and are designed to detect potential threats to aviation and passengers. Accordingly, TSA security officers do not search for illegal drugs, but if any illegal substance or evidence of criminal activity is discovered during security screenings, TSA will refer the matter to a law enforcement officer. Okay.
I mean, it is great. Honestly, I feel like everybody deserves to have their medicine with them, no matter what it is.
Back in April, the Trump administration took action to reclassify marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a less severe Schedule 3 after dozens of states, including Florida, have passed medical marijuana legislation.
I was not aware, no. I don't think nobody's talking about it yet.
The TSA says right now, their agents here at Orlando International aren't searching for any marijuana or illegal drugs. They say instead, those agents have a job of identifying any security threats for that flight.
You're only supposed to be looking through like the x-rays and stuff like that. They should be able to focus on that more.
At this point, it's still unclear if or how TSA agents would verify if somebody has a medical marijuana license. Orlando police tell us if their officers are called to a security line, officers will evaluate the circumstances and enforce applicable laws accordingly, which calls for a $100 fine if the amount is under 20 grams if someone doesn't have a medical marijuana license.
Okay, so what they're saying is, now what they didn't say with that was that they would take it.
Correct.
They just said if you have under 20 grams, so you could have like a half ounce, that's like 14. I mean, why would you travel with more than a half? Like, that's crazy. That's a lot too, though. Like, for you to be able to take for personal use, that's pretty good too. That's pretty phenomenal for you to be able to take a whole half on the plane with you, and you know, going between state to state, even as a medical patient. But even saying if it's less than 20 and it's just personal use, recreational, that they only gonna find you $100 to fly with it.
Yeah.
You know, That's not, that's, and they made it Schedule 3 now. So I'm also interested to see how the firearm laws are going to change as well, because currently, right now, if you are a registered medical patient, then you can't possess a firearm. Okay. It is illegal for you to go in, get the application, and I think it's a box that they have on there that says do you use, I want to say, do you use marijuana? Or let's see, we're gonna
I know I had a question. I just looked up how many states don't support medical marijuana. Because I was thinking, like, does this mean, like, is this like a step towards federally legalizing it? Because you flying from state to states, and I would imagine like the state you're flying into would have to accept or allow medical marijuana.
well, as long as you have a card, long as you have a prescription, as you have a prescription, then yeah, because it's your medicine. It's just like, any of the stuff you get from Walgreens, it's prescribed by a physician.
Correct.
So it's your medicine. And that's why they rescheduled it to Schedule 3. So let's check this out real quick though. Right here is the United States Concealed Carry Association. Okay. And let's look right here. We see federally prohibited persons, including marijuana users. And it says the Federal Gun Control Act of 1968, Federal Omnibus Consolidated Appropriations Act of 1979 make it illegal for a person who fits into any of the following categories to ship, transport, receive, or possess firearms or ammunition. These laws prevent a state from issuing a concealed carry permit license, as it will be legal for people who fit in these categories by federal law to own or possess a gun. And they have all of these things right here. Y'all can read this. The link will be in the description, but it goes right here to say persons who are unlawful users of or are addicted to narcotics or any other controlled substances, including marijuana. See below. And then here it says, see below, you see these exemptions here, but this has not been updated. And it says, federal law prohibits medical marijuana users from possessing or buying firearms and ammunition, even if state law allows the drug's use. An individual can't have both licenses. Under federal law, any marijuana user is an unlawful user of a controlled substance.
And that's what I was saying, right? Like, that's so confusing.
Well, I'm not going to say it's confusing right now. I'm going to say that it hasn't caught up yet. So I would say right now, this law is in place.
Yeah.
Okay. This is as it stands right now. Okay. But I would think if I can have a prescription for, oxys or whatever, or Zans or all that stuff, and still own a firearm, then
that's true.
We just waiting for this to catch up, because because why would it be scheduled in Schedule 3, similar to those particular other medications, and those people can still own firearms? Those people aren't restricted from owning firearms, accessing firearms, right?
Correct.
So I think that it just needs time to catch up. I think it isn't there yet because it's just so fresh and new, and we're seeing a lot of rollout of the acceptance, but we haven't seen yet all of the legislative processes take effect. Bubba and Brown says, this is all so confusing. I was reading There's certain airlines like Delta have their own strict policies and may prohibit it on their flights, regardless if it's a medical status. Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. It's just being rolled out. So it depends. Maybe you can only fly Frontier, you know. Spirit probably had maybe JetBlue and Frontiers like bring the bud. It's okay. You know, light up in the bathroom, soul plane. They might be with it. But I'm sure it's gonna be policy, but at a certain point in time, it's gonna override. You know, it's gonna override. It's gonna be common ground for everybody. You know, it'll and the language will be, you know, explained and specific, and it won't be, is it this or is it that? You know,
correct.
But
there's only 3 states where medical marijuana isn't allowed.
Right. Yeah. So that's the thing where it's like, look at this whole, you know, and those 3 states are going to be coming along soon because everybody else is doing it and it's illegal now. So there'll be a way for them to get revenue on it, be able to tax revenue.
They're just hurting themselves right now.
New business revenue, you know, and all of these other things that get established. And yeah, it's new. It is new, but it goes to one of them things with telling people. I could think back, like, you know, over 20 years ago when, you know, I'm joining the military and you can't smoke. And I went from, you know, enjoying the smoke all the time, you know, in my youth. Right. So it's like, and you just say, you know what, I'm gonna put this down because I have a goal, you know, and that goal requires for me to put this thing down. And then you accomplish that goal, and now you see all of this new legislation with like, well, like now because I put it down, you know, I can take a flight to Colorado, I can go to California, I can go to Nevada. Now I have resources to be able to do that, you know, and I can just hop off the plane and go right to the dispensary, go chill and, you know, and bake all I want. And, you know, or if you live in a state where that's already allowed, yeah, then now it's just like, damn. So I look at some of the people who I knew that was my age when I was making the choices that I was making to try to change my life and do positive and constructive things, and a lot of their excuses was like, you know, well, man, can you smoke in the military? I'm like, hell no, you can't smoke. You know, like, well, I don't know if I could go. Like you said, you can't go to hopefully have a better quality of life for yourself in the future and your babies that you smoking around here making, you know, like you can't do that and just put that down for a little bit, you know. So that's some very good progress in the world of cannabis. So I know it's a lot of people who are happy about that.
Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is turning hustle into hope for Houston's youth.
He's built his own business empire, and he is now teaching a group of Houston ISD students how to build their own business through his G Unity Foundation. In an exclusive interview and his very first local TV interview, I sat down to talk to 50 Cent about his biggest investment yet, giving Houston kids a chance to see a future they never imagined. The program is called G Unity Business Lab. More than 100 Houston ISD high school students are selected to participate in a year-long program. They learn how to start a business, how to run it, and financially manage it. And then
we want to separate our products into communication and daily living.
The students pitch their business idea at the Hustle Tank competition at NRG in front of 50 Cent and a panel of handpicked Houston judges.
We focus on mental health and emotional connection.
Leading up to this big presentation, the students connect with mentors and coaches.
The biggest thing that the program is offering them is a different kind of confidence.
Students say the experience is changing how they see themselves and their future.
At the end, we're able to look back and just laugh. Because although it was hard at some point, it, like you said, it was worth it.
What has it been like interacting with some of these students and hearing their stories and what they're going through?
Some of them don't have both parents in the household.
Yeah.
You know, I had that in my background and experience, so I could relate to them on that level. Yeah, I mean, it just makes it easier for me to communicate with them.
For Jackson, this is all about exposing the students to opportunities and helping Houston's youth dream big and give them the tools to succeed no matter where they come from.
I have every reason why you would not be successful in my background. So it's like, I don't care what you say to me. If you want to make it, you're going to make it. And you can just access that and get the information in the program and do what you got to do. If not, then you go make excuses somewhere else because this is not the place for it with me being there.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to 50, man. Shout out to 50 Cent. Shout out to Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Yeah, she said 50. She said
50. She said 50. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. You know, I want to give a G Unit. Shout out, big G Unit. Shout out, man, because
G Unit T.
You know, because that is dope, man. That is dope. We love to see a lot of people give a lot of rappers a bad rap, you know, and we don't see as much of it because it don't get highlighted, but we gonna highlight it though, man. You know, like we caught his other story with the donation from the Diddy documentary, you know, and we look for stuff like that. We not always looking for the new single or the new album drop, you know what I'm saying? Like we looking for the stuff that is empowering, you know, because we want to be better.
Yeah.
You know, so we ain't all on the trends, you know, like, yeah, I like Kendrick Lamar and Drake and J. Cole and 50 Cent and Rick Ross, you know what I'm saying? And everybody else. Like I'm a fan of the music, of the artistry. I don't know none of them cats to be picking a side or be thinking that my life is like they life and none of that foolishness, man. Like, you know, we know the difference, but that right there, that's the type of good stuff that we love to see. And once again, much success to Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and all his endeavors, man. That's so dope, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, bro, and setting that example. Definitely. But yeah, that's all we got for them flavor bombs right there. And
you've just been flavor bombed, and now back to our show.
Yep, so we have been smoking on opinion tonight, y'all. Make sure to smash that like button. You rocking with us. Man, we are at our fifth and final question, last but never least. Is the word opinion bad, good, or misunderstood? The God Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm.
Opinions are bad, God, and misunderstood. Right? They're bad by definition alone. They're supposed to be in your mind, right? Like you're not supposed to necessarily share. Like even with the popular opinion concept, like that even tells you that's bad because the sentence they used was like the news, you know, trying to spread popular opinion or tell you what the popular opinion is, so that if you don't think like everybody else, you'll feel ostracized and strange, right? So I don't like that. Like, but it's misunderstood. But I think a lot of people when they tell you something, they feel like an expert in that moment, and that's why they get that air of superiority because they feel like they think they're expert, and they tell you something that's like what do you call it, a hot take.
A hot take. It's like, what are you gonna pick? No, we don't want no hot pockets.
So that's what I think. I think I definitely think opinions are bad. I'm gonna do my very best never to offer an opinion again, unless we're in a brainstorming session. Well, I'm in a safe environment, right? But I think folks are using it wrong. I think people just don't understand, right? Like that decision making process, that judge process, like that, like those opinions are fact based. It's like kind of like science, right? Like it's a theory, but it's a scientific theory. It's based off the facts, you know, based off the observations of the results, right? And this is what we all agree on, right? Because this is what we all saw. So yeah, I definitely think it's bad. I'm never gonna use it again. Do my best, but it's definitely misunderstood. But it's definitely misunderstood because I feel like people are using it thinking that they're experts, and they're not.
No doubt, I agree 100%. It is bad and misunderstood, and I echo the same things that you were saying, God. You know, I am definitely going to do my best to never use the word opinion ever again in explaining anything. You know, even if somebody asks me, I'm trying to get your opinion, I'm gonna say, no, I don't have an opinion for you, but I have advice, you know. And I know it's gonna be confusing to people because they don't watch the show or they don't research the word, you know. So to them, they'll be like, well, you know what I mean, you know, or and people, you know, people hate that now. Like, why you gotta be so technical? Like being technical and being accurate, you know, like you know, technical is for dummies, you know. You know, dummies say, well, technically speaking, no. No. You know, you're absolutely not you're not accurate, you're not factual if you're technical. You know, you actually have to have some information that is valid. We got you back in, God.
Word.
You know, and I was just saying, like, no, that's not factual. You know, technical is not factual. You know, technical is a form of training. Okay, it is not. It is not truthful. It's it's being used to say, well, I meant what you meant to say, or what you say, but you ain't saying that. So you're hoping people will figure you out or figure it out because you are unable to communicate your point effectively. You know, um, and that's what that technical is used for. But yeah, bad and misunderstood. Yeah, I'm glad we had this conversation.
Facts.
It's smoke. Because it's just another word that needs to be removed. It's another word that needs to be, you know, really taken into consideration when people are trying to exemplify better communication, have better results with their communication, and their advice that they're giving, and their advice, and helping others to not come from I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like to me it's like, okay, I'm gonna rock with you because you got my attention. You know, everybody can't just get my attention to be telling me in their opinion what they feel like. You know, I'm picky with my attention, with who I give it to.
Man.
You know, because I don't think everybody is worthy of my attention. So definitely call it what you want, you know, or don't call it at all. You know. But like we always say, we are not the gurus. We are just trying to figure these things out ourselves as we go. And tonight, y'all, we have been smoking on the word opinion. We had 5 questions. What do you think of when you hear the word opinion? When can sharing an opinion become harmful, feeling like criticism? The saying, opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one. Is it true? Yes or no? And why? Why do people hold tightly to opinions when evidence proves otherwise? And is the word opinion bad, good, or misunderstood? You know, what we would like for you to do is let us know in the comment section your answers to those questions, and we will definitely respond to you. And we appreciate everybody for pulling up, hanging out with us tonight. We hope you got something valuable or tangible out of tonight's smoke. And like we always say, you know, if you got something, specifically how we say it is, we are not the gurus. If you like something that we smoking on, pick it up, have a smoke. If not, leave it in the ashtray so somebody else can come by and have a good day. You know, we want everybody to have a peaceful, positive, and productive Memorial Day weekend, y'all. You know, I know it's raining in a lot of places, so if you can barbecue safely. If you're traveling somewhere, please get home safe. You know, and then tomorrow, just as a reminder, y'all, at 3 p.m., wherever you at, you know, just give a moment of silence for all of the soldiers in the armed forces who have sacrificed, who wasn't able to RTHP, that's return home port, you know, or died during the course of, you know, trying to protect this country. So that's all we got. Make sure y'all smash that like button. I'm Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Until next time, peace, God.
Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude at Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. You are the key to your financial freedom, so unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.